First game on my list, Crazy Taxi. Fantastic game. If you have a Dreamcast, this is the #1 game you should own, at least in my opinion, because it's a fantastic game, plays really well, fantastic music, great gameplay, awesome graphics. Everything about this game is just fun, and I really like it. And it's a game that has tons of replayability. You can go back to it and play it over and over again. And even if you have just a few minutes to waste on playing some games, it's definitely one picking up, because you can have a short run, just play for a few minutes and you're done. So definitely a fantastic game. I really love it. It has been ported to other systems later on, such as the GameCube and so on, but some of the music was cut out of the other ones because of licensing issues, because it has a lot of big bands in here. So definitely worth owning the original if you can, because then you get the complete sound music list of the original and how it was originally released in 1999. And like I said, it's a fantastic game. I really love it. This is a game, like I said, I have a few minutes to play, or I just want to waste some time. I usually pick up the Crazy Taxi series, and it really works great with the Sega Dreamcast controller. As you guys know, it has those thumb triggers, and some people weren't fans of it. But for a game like this, usually race car games, arcade games, any kind of driving car games, the Sega Dreamcast controller really works good for it. It's all like it was almost built around this game. So definitely worth owning. Fantastic game. And as you can see, this one takes place, I believe, in Los Angeles. The first one. It could be San Francisco, but I think it's Los Angeles. But either way, great game. And as you can see, whole lot of fun, definitely worth owning. Second one, no surprises here, but Crazy Taxi 2, fantastic game. So as you can see, 3 new drivers, takes place in New York. Cinnamon, Iceman, and Slash. Don't really have a favorite, I guess. For my favorite is Hot D or Iceman, but they're really not my favorites. In the first game, it was always BD Joe, but this one has a little bit longer loading times. Graphics are pretty much the same, maybe a little tiny bit better. Loading times are a little bit longer, and this one had some new mechanics added, such as you can pick up more than one driver at a time. Sometimes people will be waiting in 2 or 3s, and you can pick them up and even get more points, because the farther you drive them, or the more people you pick up, the more money you make, of course, for your fare. So pretty interesting. And the other mechanic they added, which I did not like, is you could press one of the buttons and launch your car in the air, so instantly jump. So I thought that was kind of dumb. It didn't make sense why you could just launch your taxi in the air for no reason. As you can see, you gotta park in a circle, pick them up. This one, I'm picking up 3 mimes, so they all 3 want to be dropped off different places, and it's worth more money. But you have a limited time limit, and depending on how fast you get there, the more bonus time you may earn to keep your run alive and earn more cash. So there's kind of trade-off in knowing where you're at and how far you are, and bobbing and weaving in between traffic. So it's a great game too. It's not as good, in my opinion, as the first one, but still really good. Definitely both of them are good, and like I said, they have been ported to other systems. It's just that this one has all the original music as it was intended. Later on, they had to cut some of the music in future releases because of licensing issues, and had to add different songs. So, and I don't think there was ever a complete soundtrack released past the Dreamcast. So that is the Crazy Taxi series. Number 2 on my list. This one is kind of controversial. This is Omikron, the Nomad Soul, the first sandbox game. It even came out before Grand Theft Auto, so 3 years before. Produced by Eidos, and David Cage is a controversial guy, the one who made Rain and Detroit Be Human or something like that. But anyways, this is a great game. I didn't play either of those games, But, well, it's not a great game. This is it's kind of a mixed bag. The controls are quite terrible. Graphics haven't aged well. But the game is very interesting. You're basically a guy who's come to a video game world and has transferred your soul into his video game character, because they live in a video game world. Sort of like Tron, I guess you would say. And there's some corporation greed and things going on in the video game world. Demons. A lot of sci-fi stuff involved. But I would say this game's still very interesting. And one of the main interesting features is the music is all done by David Bowie. So David Bowie basically did the whole soundtrack, his whole album, one of his albums he released, and put it in this game. And he basically built it around the game, so it's pretty interesting that he did it that way. And here I'm like, there's even parts where you'll get to it, because he plays two characters. David Bowie does. And one of the characters he plays a band singer in a band here. And he does quite a few different performances actually in the game. Full video of him as a video game character singing. So very interesting game. That's Omikron, the Nomad Soul. Definitely worth playing, I would say, just because there's a lot of history behind it, and it is an interesting game if you really give it a chance. Like I said, it is going to be some clunky controls and so on, and the graphics haven't aged as well, but if the story is pretty engaging and it's pretty interesting, and I think you would really like it. And it's pretty cheap, and it's kind of like almost like a hidden gem, I would say, because no one talks about it, and I don't think a lot of people played it. There was a lot of big games when this was released that year, and this game got kind of overlooked. But like I said, it's the first sandbox game, even before Grand Theft Auto, cyberpunk world with demons and other stuff going on. So definitely worth checking out. As you can see here, it's in the future, so you can like watch these hologram TVs and so on. You can walk in all kinds of shops, basically do all kinds of stuff. It's a big game, for especially sandbox game for the Dreamcast, because they didn't have many of those, so pretty interesting. Number 3 on my list, Mr. Driller, of course. It seems like Mr. Driller on any system is really good. Played it on DS, I played it on WonderSwan, I think I played it on Game Boy Color, I played it on Nintendo DS, did I say? 3DS maybe, GameCube, played it on pretty much anything and everything, different versions of it, even on the Switch. And every time, Mr. Driller is a lot of fun. And if you guys don't know, Mr. Driller is Dig Dug's son. So if you ever played Dig Dug, this is his son. Dig Dug's the one that pumps them full of air and explodes their little bodies into pops them like a balloon under the ground, whereas Mr. Driller is trying to drill the blocks and save the land from cave-ins and so on, and at the same time trying to collect air so he can breathe as he goes down. Fun little puzzler game, and then I really like it. Mr. Driller is just a really addicting game in general. No matter what I've played it on. I don't think I've played a bad Mr. Driller game, in my matter of fact. Seems like it's always really good. And this one is a solid one. Graphics are good, music's good, fun gameplay. Not many modes as other ones, but still plays really well and definitely worth owning in your collection. This one may be a little pricey. Mr. Driller games usually get kind of expensive compared to like the Omikron. Omikron should be darn cheap. You may even get it for under $5. So that is a Dreamcast in general. Some of the games are pretty cheap. Nowadays they're going up a little bit more. But certain ones like Omikron and some of the hidden gems aren't expensive. But this one, Mr. Driller, may be an expensive game. I didn't look it up, unfortunately. But there's lots of puzzle elements, as you see, because you got to make sure you don't get caved in by matching 4 the same color and being under a block that can't be supported and get crushed. So interesting, fun game if you haven't played a Mr. Driller. A lot of fun. It's always cartoony fun. And like I said, it has an importance because this is Mr. Dig Dug's son. You ever played the old Dig Dug games? So pretty cool game. And I'm working my way down, as you can see, trying to get to the bottom. Anyways, that is it for this episode. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and as always, have a good one. Take care, everybody, and expect many more of these Dreamcast videos. Take care, everybody, and have a good one.